Yeah, my name is Dan Kimoro. I'm normally referred to as Dan Kimoro. Um, Trained as a quantity surveyor. Went through the University of Nairobi. Graduated in 1984. After which I immediately went into I was absorbed in the private sector. I started with one of the larger firms at that time, which was Armstrong and Duncan, and where I actually, carved out my career for 10 years. Where I learned a lot of things in terms of experience and just learning different projects. So I was there for 10 years. Then I broke off now to start my private business, a private consultancy, which I've been doing since 1984 up to now. After going through university at Armstrong and Duncan, I worked for about 6 years. And then I went for my master's in the UK, the University of Reading, where I did my construction project management. So when I came back, actually, at Armstrong and Duncan, I had the opportunity now to start their project management division. Yeah, I started which I set up. And then after 2 years, 1994, I left now to come into the industry. So that is where, in terms of my career, started. During my career life, I've had an opportunity to serve in various organizations. The EAK itself, I was the vice chairman between 2003 and 2005. I also served as the chair of the Quant Surveyors chapter. Also, I think during about that time, maybe a little earlier to 2005. And then also the opportunity to serve in the board of registration of architects and quant surveyors, where I served from about 2006. I became vice chairman between 2006 to 2009 about. And then I also chaired the ethics and practice committee. Yeah, so I've had a chance to industry to serve in various capacities. I've also served the African body, the Africa Association of Quant Surveyors, where I was vice president for quite a bit of time. But between 2009 to 2011, I was able to serve as the president for the Africa Association of Quant Surveyors. Yeah, so I'm back here trying to mentor young people and continue with the industry. Yeah. Yeah, I joined AK after graduation. I joined AK as a graduate member in 1985. So for 2 years, I was a graduate member. Then I became a corporate member in January 88. I became a corporate member, because now you see, now after graduation you join as a corporate rather than a graduate. So I started off and then joined as I was a graduate member before when I was in university, but now joined into corporate I think it was 86 years corporate. But I got my certificate for corporate, because you have to go through a process to be nominated as a corporate member in January 1988. So I was a graduate until 98 when I became a full corporate member. And then, you see, at that time, the AK used to carry out the exams for the Board of Registration. So I'd started my exams in 87 and I passed. And in 88, towards September now, I was registered now as a full quant surveyor. Yeah. So that was my starting career. And then in terms of fellowship, after serving the organization for, I think it must have been 21 years, I became a fellow when was it? It was in March 2009. That's when I became a fellow of the AAK. That's when I was nominated to be a fellow. Yeah. Okay, a fellow, I've had the opportunity and to serve in various capacities as a fellow. I served as a vice chairman for 6 years. And since 2018, I've been the chairman of the College of Fellows. So the College of Fellows entrusted me to be their leader for 3 year span. My term ends in March 2021. But the enjoyable thing is that you're able to interact with people who have a lot of experience, to share ideas in terms of what happens. So what we've been doing at the College of Fellows, we've been trying to put ourselves into groups which can help the industry, especially mentoring young people, because that's our main focus, to really mentor, because a lot of fellows have institutional memory in terms of what's happening in the industry. So just imparting that to upcoming people, it helps a great deal. So we try and do that, and we encourage that, especially education institutions like universities, where they require services, we say we are open. They can invite somebody to go in and give their experience or whatever is happening in the industry. They've grown in the industry. Yeah. In terms of lesson, is that our industry is now continuously evolving. Yeah. So it's necessary for professionals to keep up with the changing world. See, like what's happened with COVID now, things have evolved. So when there's new technological advancements in the industry, we need to keep up with them so that they can help us, to be more productive and to be more efficient in terms of the services that we offer. So to me, the biggest lesson is to be able to keep up with what is happening. Yeah. And then the other lesson that I've learned is that, our industry is relational. I could call it relational. Because clients relate to persons in any business. But in our industry, if you want an architect, you go to a particular architect because they have a particular kind of product that you like. So it's important that you are able to enhance and keep that relationship. So it's a relationship. And two, the other lesson I've learned is that our industry is more of a referral industry as opposed to like how you can go to a shop and shop for business. So people relate to individuals in our industry. So that's why you can find some individuals can be very busy, others are not busy, because they're relating to the person and to the product of that particular institution. Yeah. And I think a bigger lesson, which I also always try to impart to the young guys, our industry is not a microwave industry. We work, it requires a lot of hard work, but it's also good to work smart so that you are more efficient in terms of how you serve our clientele. So it's important to learn to work smart, but also remember there's a lot of hard work involved in the whole thing in the industry. And more important, to remain ethical. One lesson I can recall when I was, this happened actually even before when I was still a graduate member. At the time that I was a graduate member, the office that I was working with was actually involved with Buruburu housing scheme. Now, Buruburu was a very big housing scheme. They were constructing 500, 1,000 units, things like that. So it was a very big industry. And I was assigned, once practical completion had been achieved, to just confirm in each house whether certain things have been done. Things like, very simple things like a door stopper. At that time, probably it was costing 20 or 30 bob, just a door stopper. And what we could used to call door hooks, also that time they were maybe 20, 30 bob. Now, when I computed that, in each house, the cost of all those things were costing maybe 3,000 shillings at that time. But if you find, because the industry and the housing scheme, I was now dealing with the housing scheme, which is about 500 units. So you can imagine I was there every day for over a week, just going through each house. That's the lesson that I learned. And that time I was even trying to wonder whether that's the industry I should have gone into. But then what happened, when I had gone through the exercise, I found that in each house, out just adding up the items, there was a shortage of about 700 to 800 shillings, just out of the missing items. Now, door hooks, just simple things. because nobody comes to check whether doorstop has been put. When I computed that on average of 700 shillings, that time for 500 units, you can see what it meant. It was almost 350,000 shillings shortfall. Now the Buruburu houses which were being done were costing, sale price was I think 150,000. So you can already see just out of missing those things, it was the cost of buying 2 units. So that's a lesson I learned, that you need to be very detailed in what you do. So that was a big lesson. That's what I tell young people. Watch what you're doing, be careful, be thorough in what you do. Yeah, then you'll be a better person. Where I'd like to see the industry go is that I like to see more management in terms of managing. You see, our industry also has a lot of quacks who bring a sort of wrong image in the industry. So I'd like to see better enforcement on how to deal with quacks, especially because of course we've heard of collapsed buildings and things like that. So better management will give better housing for all. So that one I'd like to see in terms of the industry. And of course, what's happening now, the industry, is more specialization. See, before you used to find all concrete being mixed on site, but now you have ready mixed delivery. So I'd like to see more specialization, because specialization gives better quality. So I'd like to see more specialization in trades. For instance, steel fixing, formwork fixing. Because you find these trades in other countries, they're very specialized. So you find teams come, they do their work, another team comes. So with specialization, to deliver projects faster, to deliver projects more efficiently, and also workmanship, good quality. So that's one thing. And of course, our industry now is now getting more professionals, a different range of professionals, more services. So I like to see better integration and coordination, so people understand the range of services and what every person is delivering, so that you have a more efficient product at the end of the day. So I like to see that. Yeah. I think it's easy in the mind, but from the practical aspect, it's a challenge, because you see what happens when people mix concrete on site. They think they're actually saving money, but the labor is inefficient, because it depends on how somebody came in the morning, how their mood was. So people can look very busy on a site, but productivity is low. So I advise a lot of people, because there's a time I'd done a paper, especially on local contractors, and that's one of the things that I captured: inefficiency in on-site production. So specialization actually enhances productivity, and also it establishes clear profit margins. Because if your concrete is being delivered at 12,000 a cubic meter, I'm charging the client 14,000. So you are very clear. As opposed to when you say I'm charging 12,000, the time you mix the wastage, theft, by the time you do all those things, you find that your gain is very low. So specialization is not a deterrent. It's actually a tool that helps you be of better productivity.